country with millions of miles of roads and approximately 253 million cars, car accidents are an unfortunate fact of life. In the U.S. alone, over 37,000 people die in road crashes every year, and nearly 2.5 million Americans are injured or disabled in car accidents annually. The effects of road crashes are often long-term and far-reaching. Attorney Larry Green is here today to talk to us about what to do after your car accident, steps to take, people to talk to, and mistakes to avoid. So Larry, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, Larry, there are some very significant risks in driving a motor vehicle. Talk about that from your perspective as a personal injury lawyer.
There are many people injured by car accidents caused by distracted driving or impaired driving or aggressive driving. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact of modern life that we have people who just have somewhat of a total disregard for the safety of others. So you have to be extremely careful in driving a motor vehicle.
It's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility.
What are some of the most important steps that car accident victims should take in the weeks and months following the accident?
Well, the first thing you should do if you're involved in an accident is call the police, exchange information, write down the license number, the vehicle, all the vehicles involved in the accident, the names and addresses of the other drivers, and any witnesses there might be. The next thing you should do is get all appropriate medical attention, because the object is to get better and surmount this event. And you have time to clean up the aftermath of the accident, but getting appropriate medical attention is extremely important in surmounting the difficulties that you might have and in getting better.
And that brings up another whole topic, because the medical bills can often be heavy burdens. How are medical bills typically paid, and who takes care of them?
In Pennsylvania, you go to your own source of first-party benefits, which is your insurance company, first for payment of medical expenses in accordance with what you purchased. If you don't have a policy and you're an occupant of a motor vehicle, you would go to your own to any motor vehicle policy in your household, and if there's no motor vehicle policy in your household, you would go to the policy insuring the vehicle that you occupied. If you're a pedestrian and you don't have motor vehicle insurance or live in a household with motor vehicle insurance, you would go to any insurance carrier for any vehicle involved in the pedestrian accident.
Now, in some cases, the injuries, whether physical or mental, may not be immediately evident after the crash. Can you talk a little bit about future compensation for long-term, continued medical care?
Sure. Sometimes when you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, your injuries aren't evident immediately, but they manifest themselves in the ensuing days or weeks after an accident. And as soon as you feel that you've had an accident-related injury, you should seek appropriate medical attention, either at a hospital, if it warrants it, or through your primary care physician. And then follow your doctor's advice about follow-up appointments or any medication or any physical therapy that you might need. Sometimes accidents result in long-term problems, and you would continue to treat and have those medical expenses paid for by your own motor vehicle insurance policy, first-party benefits. And once you exhaust those benefits, you would go to any underlying health care coverage that you might have that you've purchased privately or through your employment.
So you almost need a lawyer just to sort out everything.
Well, you do. Lawyers will help people in the first-party benefits make sure that bills are submitted to the first-party carrier for payment consideration, and that your health care providers are reimbursed appropriately in accordance with the amounts payable to them from either your first-party benefits or your underlying health care coverage.
Larry, what happens if there are passengers in the car? Who is responsible for their injuries?
Well, injuries to passengers is handled somewhat the same as injuries to the driver if there's another at-fault party. In other words, if you're in a vehicle and you're a passenger and someone crosses over the highway and smashes into your car, both you, the driver, if the driver's injured, and you, the passenger, if you're injured, would have a claim against that errant driver. However, there's a slight difference with passengers if their own driver causes the accident. Under those circumstances, you would make a claim against your host driver's insurance carrier for liability coverage, which would consist of pain, suffering, inconvenience, aggravation. You still go to your own insurance carrier for payment of first-party benefits consisting of lost wages and medical expense reimbursement.
When people come to your firm, what are the biggest mistakes you see in terms of what is done in the aftermath of their road crashes?
Well, generally people come to our firm shortly after an accident, and we're able to step in right away, preserve evidence, get statements, speak with our client's own insurance carrier or any insurance carrier involving a defendant who was responsible for this accident. However, some people come to us late, and the problems that we have there is they have no idea how to handle their claim, and they make mistakes. They give recorded statements to insurance carriers where they indicate that only one thing was wrong with them when there were a multitude of things wrong with them, and they just concentrate on what hurts the worst. And when you give a statement like that, it comes back to haunt you, because they say, well, you know, you never complained to us when we asked you what was wrong with you, that you had these other type of injuries. You only complained about your arm, but you never told us about your leg. So it's better if people get a lawyer who is knowledgeable on how to handle personal injury cases as soon as possible after an accident.
Larry, if one of our listeners has been in an accident and would like to reach your firm, how can they do that?
They can call us either at our toll-free number, 1-800-999-2626, or they can go online to burgerandgreen.com and leave us a message, and we will get back to them and try to help them with their problem. We provide this service without an obligation. It's a free consultation, and we encourage everybody to avail themselves of this. It's very important for injured and disabled people to know their rights, and so they can protect themselves.
Larry, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you calling me.
Until next time, this is Cindy Speaker for Pennsylvania Law TV.